Discussion going on right now, plans to end Biafra. I'm not going to just talk much. I go want make you just pay attention, listen to this video from the starting to the end there, and make sure say share this video to everyone on every social media platform. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and like freedom from Mazana the Crown ending. Don't reach. Share this video right now and pay attention.
Earlier this morning, I was listening to news about the ongoing war in the Middle East. And as I was listening to the news, suddenly my mind switched to the Biafran war. And I began to imagine the level of destruction the Nigerian soldiers must or may have caused in the southeast part of Nigeria during that 1967-1970 Biafran war. I began to imagine. And as God may have it, as I said, okay, let me Google it and see what happened, I came across this building. And it happens that as of today, this is the only building that is still standing since after the 1967-1970 Biafran war. This building is still standing in Anambra State till date. Oh yes. Now, looking at this building, it will give you, should I say, a view, or it will give you a mindset of how that war went. As you can see, these are bullet wounds, or should I say, the mark of bullets all over the body of the building. So you can see it. Let me zoom it so you can see it. Of course, I'm going to play the video now so that you understand what really happened during the 1967-1970 Biafran war. I'm going to play the video, but then war is not good. War is never good anywhere. If you go to Iran now, most of their facilities, air defense, everything has been destroyed. And so nobody is actually calling for war. But we stand on what is right. Whatever is right should be done, regardless of how small, how big the people are. Oh yes. Now I'm going to play a video for you where, my brother went into this building and show what really happened inside, so that you understand what we are talking about when we talk about the 1967-1970 Biafra war. Please do well to listen to it. Then you do well to drop your comment in the comment section, please.
Hello guys. So today we are in Onitsha, Anambra State. We brought you guys to the only surviving building from the Biafran war. This building at my back now is the only surviving building that was affected during the Nigerian Civil War that is still standing till date. You can see bullet marks on the walls of the building. Bullet marks all over the building. So much bullet marks. And you ask yourself, is it here that the whole war was fought? Is this building the ground for fighting the war? Was it the war front that the building had to be affected this much by several bullets all over the walls, even inside? That was how crazy it was. So we came here to take a tour around the building here. This is more like a museum now, although it's not been officially made a museum because government haven't done the needful in making this environment, this particular place now, a museum. So we are here to take you around the building. This building is over 100 years. It was built in the year 1924. So it is 101 years old. 101 years, this building is still standing strong despite the things it has passed through, the attack by bullets and time, the age of the building. So you will see that it was really an amazing work done by the engineers that set up this building. So as you go through this video, you will ask yourself, you have a reflection of what our fathers went through fighting the Biafran war. If this building was affected like this and so many casualties were recorded, what happened in other places? What happened across the entire Igbo? I am not sure this was the most affected building, but then you can see the bullets all over the building. You can see bullets all over. What now happened in other places? The casualties that were recorded in other places. Honestly, the Biafra Remembrance Day that happens every 30th of May should be happening here or there should be an event happening here every 30th of May, the Biafra Remembrance Day. There should be a sober reflection by Igbos. There should be an event, candlelight procession and all that happening here every 30th of May. Because this is more like the closest reality people of this age can see and now compare to what happened during the war, to have a glimpse on what happened during the war. So let me take you guys round this building. We'll go 360 and then we'll also go inside to have a proper look, to have a better look of the building so that you see what this building looks like in this year 2025. Stay tuned and don't go anywhere.
Biafra as a nation has existed for over 5,000 years. Nigeria is only but 103 years old now. Therefore, Nigeria is fake and Biafra is real. Nigeria is a white man creation. A man never creates a nation, only God does. The word Nigeria, if you ask me, is not original name of the people that we are coexisting and living within these premises. Because there's no word in Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo that is known with the word Niger area. The word Niger area, if you ask me, I will tell you, you can go and do your research and confirm what I'm saying, that word Niger area, first and foremost, there is a company not owned by the British company, the royal family, known as Royal Niger Company. They came here in the year 1835 or so. They came to trade within this vicinity. They came through the Atlantic Ocean, and when they came, they met people here, and there are a lot of fraud which I'm going to expose today, because that place they call Niger, River Niger, people say that the name Nigeria is being taken from the River Niger. But that word, River Niger, is also a lie, because there is a people who were fishing that water before the coming of Europeans. What is the name they used to call that river? We call it Orimiri Obaru or Oshimiri Obaru. Therefore, Nigeria is fake, created by Lord Lugard and his girlfriend known as Flora Shaw. And these two people who have named this entity Nigeria, they don't have children. There is no descendant of Bro Lugard and the wife Flora Shaw. And that is why everything in Nigeria is not working. We are indigenous people of Biafra, the indigenes, the owner of the land. Here is our ancestral home. We are the children of Arodi, Aloeri, and Eri. These three children of God we are talking about here, they are the children of God in the book of Genesis chapter 46 verse 16. So to tell you more about this nation we know as Biafra, we are the indigenous people. We have no common value shared with the people known as Nigeria. Because my grandmother died at the age of 96. If my grandmother is supposed to be alive, if you do your plus and minus, you will know that she's older than the word Nigeria. There was nothing like Nigeria before. We were indigenous people of Biafra before the coming of Europeans. We are original. We have our way of civilization. The way we write, the way we communicate. We have what is called NCBD, which has been there for thousands of years. But the white man will come and tell us that the names which we bear and our culture is not original. They took away our culture, they took away our heritage, they took away everything from us. Then they came to give us fake names. For example, I am from Enugu. Enugu is mountaintop, hill. And when you get to...
There are two things plaguing them in the zoo: lies and deceit. If not for the coming of IPOB, of Radio Biafra, all of you would have lived and died in the ignorance that Ojukwu caused a war. That's what they were writing. Britain helped them to write it. Ojukwu was a rebel, a secessionist, because we had no media. That is why they're paying Facebook billions upon billions of US dollars to stop this truth from coming out. Did Ojukwu cause any war? Gowon is alive, go and ask him. Did Ojukwu cause any war? Ojukwu went and negotiated restructuring with you in Aburi. You came back, Britain told you not to agree, because Britain realized that all the component units of Britain knows that if you go back to regionalism, you will have economic growth. The country will do very well. But Britain doesn't want it. That was why they even instigated the Nzogwu coup, so-called Nzogwu coup, saying they will bring Awolowo to become the head of state. They knew what was going to happen. They wanted to truncate the economic miracle of Dr. Michael Opara. What I'm telling you are fast. Go and investigate for yourself. In the East, you had the fastest growing economy in the whole world, over 40% every year. In the West, Awolowo was performing his own miracle as well. Even in the North, Ahmadu Bello and Tafawa Balewa were doing very well. You had all those massive industries in the North. You even had Alamajiris that were employed in the North, meaningfully employed, gainfully employed. They were all doing very well. Britain said, no, for us to control these people, we need to impoverish them. Let us introduce this war. There was a coup by Nzogwu. And after that, there was the massacre of, as usual, massacre of our people in the North. Ojukwu said, I have to secure my land and my people. They said, no, let's go to Aburi to discuss it. Ojukwu went to Aburi and agreed, restructuring. That's something now you're asking for. To tell you how foolish Nigerians are. They're very foolish. That same nonsense you're asking for now was discussed many years ago. Ojukwu sat down in Aburi with Gowon and decided that regionalism was the best way forward, restructuring, going back to who you were, 1963 Constitution, 1960-1963 Constitution. Be on your own and pay tax to the central government, as they have in America, as they have even in Britain. Britain, you have Scotland that is almost independent, Wales, the same thing, everybody is free, but Britain doesn't want the same thing they're enjoying to happen in Nigeria. Why? Ask yourself that question. Anybody telling you about one Nigeria is your enemy. I'll prove it to you now. Ojukwu negotiated devolution, regionalism. The North will be on their own, the West on their own, even Middle Belt on their, Midwest on their own, and then the East on their own. It's the same one Nigeria. On their way to the airport, before they boarded the aircraft, a call came from Lagos, from the British High Commissioner in Lagos, to Gowon, telling Gowon not to agree. After having signed the agreement, that same Gowon you're looking at today, God kept me alive so that he can witness the destruction he will bring upon that very zoo called Nigeria. Gowon said no. Do you know all the journalists in Nigeria, none of them have ever gone to Gowon to ask him, why did he say no to Aburi? Aburi was restructuring. None of those agitating for restructuring right now has ever gone to Gowon or gone to Nigeria to say, but Ojukwu negotiated restructuring. What happened? They came back and they said no. Ojukwu said, okay, so you want to continue to kill my people all over the place? No. Because of that, I'll declare Biafra. Today, they have brainwashed all of you with the perverse notion and thinking that somehow Ojukwu is responsible for causing a war, when opposite is the case. If not now, that after many years of hammering on this very topic, it has now sunk into the skull of the people that Gowon was the aggressor, not Ojukwu. That's how Nigeria is. Always blaming the victim. And we lost over 5 million people during that very genocidal war. They killed over 5 million Biafrans. They wanted to wipe us away from the face of this very earth. But we survived it. And we are here today. Those they gave birth to, that have come. And this time with a wrath that you cannot even begin to imagine.
6. I bring to you a message of truth and freedom. For it is only the truth that can set us free from the bondages of war and propaganda, which we confuse as history. My name is Colonel Emmanuel Mwara Nwobosi. I am 80 years old. It is time to be bold. I am too old to lie. I am not afraid to die. It is time to tell you why we had to try. I am the last of the original coup plotters of January 15, 1966, with Major Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogwu. I knew Nzogwu well. We went to school together. We trained together. We trained at Sandhurst Military Academy, UK. We lived together. Nzogwu was our first head of military intelligence and uncovered terrible plans to wreak havoc across the country We organized a group of progressive military officers to carry out a coup on 15 January 1966 to stop a jihad and bring sanity to Nigeria, steeped in nepotism, corruption, and mass murders. The government of Tafawa Balewa, controlled by the premier of northern Nigeria, Ahmadu Bello, were using us in the army to repress the Middle Belt and Western Nigeria. Houses and cars were burnt. Thousands were killed. There were 9 of us that planned the January 15th revolution. Majors Nzogu, Anuforo, Ifajuna, Ademoyega, Chukwuka, Okafor, Onwachogwu, and Obienu, and myself. However, 4 of us started it, Major Ifajuna and Major Ademoyega in the south, and Major Nzogu and myself in the north. We then united as a single revolution. I am the last of the 4 original revolutionaries. None published the complete truth. Only me, Colonel Emmanuel Nwobosi, is alive today to tell the final truth so that the lies will not triumph forever. They used us to repress the Middle Belt and the Yorubas. When we saw genocide, we began to disobey orders and swore to stop them. For instance, Major Chris Anoforo refused to release mass murderers caught with weapons and was court-martialed. He was replaced by Major Hassan Katsina, a northern Muslim willing to act. I was in Abeokuta, but refused to repress Yorubas. Instead, I opened our barracks as a safe place for them to run to. They told many lies about the January 15 boys to justify their genocide. But it is those of us that planned the revolution that they should have killed, not the 3 million innocent Biafrans that knew nothing. For years, I kept quiet, blaming myself and wondering whether at 27 I was too radical, that my actions led to the death of millions. Today, the same evil in 1966 is being unleashed. As I watch, my sense of guilt has vanished because we were not the evil. We were trying to stop the evil. That evil is radical Islamism. I have decided to speak out and warn the world of the impending disaster if we do not stop it. Each time radical Muslims plan a jihad in their religious mission to conquer the world, they will fail. But in the attempt, thousands and even millions will die. That happened to us in Biafra. At this point, let me differentiate between peaceful, law-abiding Muslims and radical Muslims who want to kill others, to force their religion on them. The problem is that wherever peaceful Muslims are, there are some radical Muslims amongst them. That is why they began a jihad in 1966. That is why we had to stop it. That is why they killed millions of our people. That is why we declared Biafra. Because we are a peaceful people, and oil and water can never mix. My story is a warning to Nigerians. For years, I was prevented from speaking the truth by exile, prison, harassment, poverty, surveillance, and death threats held over many of the actors like Ojukwu, Zik, Awolowo, Ibiam, and the January 15 boys that survived. But as I watch today, many of the events that led to the revolution are happening again, like Boko Haram, Fulani militia, Niger Delta militants, Shiites, IPOB, and mass murders. Some people think we acted wrongly in carrying out the January 15th revolution, but they may not be fully aware of the realities then. We were trained by the British, to be patriotic, to give the ultimate sacrifice for Nigeria, and to stop anyone acting against the nation. Instead of our leaders using us to defend Nigeria, they were using us to suppress the citizens. We decided to arrest them for their atrocities because no one was willing to act. Not Zik, the president, who was powerless, not Ironsi, the head of state of the army, who was a conservative. There were many reasons why we had to act. 1, to stop the killings in Yoruba land and the Middle Belt by NPC, the ruling party. 2, to stop the invasion of Yoruba land on 17 January 1966. 3, to correct the massive rigging of the 1964 elections. 4, to free Awolowo from prison and make him the prime minister. 5, to stop the terrible corruption, nepotism, and regionalism of the NPC, the ruling party. 5, to stop Ahmadu Bello's planned jihad. It was good that we acted to save the Yoruba and the Middle Belt people, and we thought that was enough to stop the jihad. We could not foresee that they will massively attack innocent Igbos. Blame those who decided to massacre our people for their evil. Today, we are fighting Buhari. He is killing Shiite Muslims and IPOB members. With the benefit of hindsight, we can see other ways of dealing with such evil. But for us in 1966, we just wanted to save the people from massacre. I wish to congratulate Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB for the good work they are doing to free our people from Nigeria and radical Islamism. Many of our people do not understand how vast IPOB is as an organization and the quality of the people that run it. On arrival in Israel, I started meeting high-quality professionals, and I was amazed. I don't know how IPOB united power professionals abroad, power traders at home, and ordinary people from market women to even riff-raff, all under one IPOB family, with worldwide radio and television. Every Igbo and Biafran should be proud of them. They are the strongest force we have today to achieve freedom for all Nigerians. No wonder they can take on the Nigerian government and win. However, it is money that makes things work. I shall donate 10% of all the profits of my new book to IPOB. It is my tithe to freedom. Tithing is God's tax to raise money for the government of the children of God. I urge you all to regularly do the same so we can have the resources to achieve our objectives. On this day of 15th January 2019, the anniversary of our revolution, I want to hand over to Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB the baton of the January 15 boys to you to complete the revolution we started. I am Ogene Obosi, a chief and elder of the Obosi people. I bring to you the blessings of the ancients. I fought for Biafra. I was wounded for Biafra. I shall die for Biafra. He said,
they are forcibly occupying their land and telling them that they cannot do anything about it. A whole presidency in a country openly and brazenly supporting terrorists. All of you watching and listening all over the world, you know that Miyetti Allah is a terrorist organization. You know that. They have killed. They have said that Benue State is theirs for the taking as a spoil of war. All of you are aware of it. You know what they are doing. Anywhere you have Fulani headsmen, terrorists for that matter, they tell you, oh, they are pastoralists. They are allowed to do their businesses in the forest. All of you are aware of it. But you kept quiet, hoping that somehow Tinubu will emerge as the president, or an Igbo man will come as the president, and your family will start enjoying. But in the meantime, you have no more farmlands, you have no more forests, you have nowhere you can call your own home. The same stupidity exhibited by Hausa peasants that enabled Fulani to take Sokoto from them, that enabled Fulani to take Katsina from them, that enabled Fulani to take even Kanu from them. Every Hausa land is occupied either by a Fulani emir or a Fulani governor. Some of you don't want to reason, you don't ever learn that the main aim of Fulani is to conquer your land and enslave you. Look at Hausa people today. As I wrote yesterday, they are worse than a discarded tissue paper. They are worth nothing. Only their language is what is relevant in their lives. Everything else is lost. All of you are repeating the exact same mistakes that the Hausas made. That is why they are in trouble. And that is why they can never ever come out of it. They are all suffering from what I would, an advanced version of the Stockholm Syndrome. Can you imagine that these people came into their land and took it over and they cannot do anything about it? Hausa is gone. It took Fulani very many years before they came out of their shell to say we are Fulani. Remember before, many years ago, they told you we are Hausa Fulani. We are Hausa Fulani. Because that time, their subjugation of the Hausa race hasn't been completed. Now they have completed it. Have they not completed it? And what is happening right now? I ask you what is happening now. Fulani have now come out to tell you we are Fulani people. Is that not what they are saying now?
After I was arrested, I was taken to Abuja. I was confined to a very tiny space. I was chained like a common criminal. I was handcuffed. They tried to break me, but they know that that is impossible. They can attest to it. They mocked me that I will rot in jail. Some prayed very fervently, those who are against Biafra, agents of darkness, that I should die in jail. But the walls of prison and detention couldn't keep me. I told Jibril, or should I say Buhari, before he died and was buried in Saudi Arabia, that he was a madman. I called him a madman in his own court because I know that he cannot do anything about it. Chukwukikabiyama sent me and not man. So there is nothing any human being can do to me or to the wider body of IPOB for that matter. I told